You don't rise to wealth by force. You rise by understanding yourself. Money doesn't change your life until it changes the way you see it. Every financial choice we make is shaped by an emotional story we began writing long before we earned our first dollar. Introduction. Presentation of the topic. Reaching your first million is often described as the summit of financial success, an accomplishment that separates those who dream from those who act. But in reality, it is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new stage, one that demands a deeper understanding of why we behave the way we do with money. The numbers in a bank account matter, but what truly determines long-term prosperity is the psychology behind every choice we make. This book begins where most financial guides conclude, with the emotional foundation that supports lasting freedom. Money is not simply a tool, it is a mirror. It reflects fears, insecurities, desires, and the stories we tell ourselves about what we deserve. Many people achieve financial milestones only to discover that they still feel unstable, anxious, or unsatisfied. The reason is simple. Wealth built without emotional clarity becomes fragile. You can earn well, save well, and invest well, yet still make decisions driven by fear, comparison, pressure, or the need for approval. Understanding this dynamic is what makes the difference between temporary success and enduring freedom. This introduction sets the tone for the journey ahead. Together, we will explore how emotions shape our financial lives far more than logic does. You will see why people with great incomes often live in constant stress, and why others with modest earnings achieve remarkable stability. You will understand how childhood beliefs influence adult decisions, why comparison destroys peace, how fear silently directs your behavior, and how your sense of identity affects the way you build or sabotage your own wealth. The goal is not only to explain how money works, but how you work in relation to it. Financial freedom is never created externally first. It begins within. When your emotions are aligned with clarity, purpose, and confidence, your financial habits evolve naturally. You stop making impulsive decisions. You learn to anticipate challenges. You become more strategic, more patient, and less reactive. In short, your relationship with money matures. Throughout this book, you will recognize patterns, stories, and moments from your own life, times when emotions made choices for you. You will also discover practical tools to reshape those habits and build a new internal narrative. Because the final stretch, the path from your first million to true freedom, is not about accumulating more. It is about learning to manage your emotions with the same precision with which you manage your finances. This journey invites you to look inward, to question beliefs that may have guided you for years, and to embrace new ones that will support the life you want to build. The goal is simple yet profound, to help you understand the emotional engine behind every financial decision, so you can move from achievement to freedom, from survival to stability, and from fear to purpose. Your next level begins now, within you. We're not rational with money. We're emotional beings trying to look rational. Money is often approached as if it were a purely logical field. Numbers, charts, strategies, and decisions that supposedly come from reason alone. Yet behind every financial choice lies a complex emotional landscape. People do not spend, save, or invest solely because of mathematical calculations. They do so because of fear, desire, hope, insecurity, pride, or the longing to feel safe. This is why the most powerful truth about money is not numerical. It is psychological. We are not rational with money. We are emotional beings trying to appear rational. This single idea shapes the entire journey toward true financial freedom. It explains why intelligent individuals make poor financial choices, why disciplined people sometimes sabotage their progress, and why even high earners experience stress, anxiety, or guilt around their finances. The problem is not a lack of knowledge. The problem is the human tendency to mask emotions with logic. We justify our decisions with explanations that sound reasonable, but deep down, they are driven by something much more personal. This hook phrase serves as a lens through which you will understand your own patterns. Every time you felt the urge to buy something to lift your mood, avoid a difficult feeling, or protect your image, emotion, not logic, was in control. Every time you hesitated to invest due to fear of losing, even when the facts supported the decision, emotion, not analysis, guided your response. And every time you compared yourself to others and felt pressured to match their lifestyle, emotion, not intention, shaped your choices. This book is designed to bring these hidden forces to the surface. By acknowledging the emotional foundation behind money, you gain the power to shift your behavior. You stop fighting against yourself. You become more aware, more intentional, and more aligned with what you truly value. In this sense, understanding your emotions is not a weakness. It is a form of financial wisdom. The purpose of this hook is not to criticize human nature, but to illuminate it. When you recognize that your financial decisions carry emotional weight, you also recognize that there is nothing wrong with feeling. What matters is learning how to navigate those emotions with clarity rather than judgment. True rationality emerges not by suppressing emotion, but by understanding it so deeply that it no longer blinds you. As you move through the chapters ahead, this phrase will remain a constant reminder. Money is a deeply emotional experience. It touches the core of who you are, your identity, your memories, your beliefs, and your expectations for the future. By embracing this truth, you step into a more conscious and empowered relationship with your finances. You begin to act with intention instead of impulse, wisdom instead of fear, and purpose instead of pressure. We're not rational with money. We're emotional beings trying to look rational. This is not simply a statement. It is the foundation of the transformation you are about to experience. When you align your emotions with your goals, your financial life becomes clearer, calmer, and infinitely more powerful. The path to true freedom begins with understanding yourself. Short personal story or anecdote. Several years ago, I met a man who earned more than most people ever imagine. His career was successful, his income was high, and on the surface, he appeared completely in control of his financial life. Yet every month, despite his impressive salary, he found himself in the same painful situation. His bank account was empty, his credit cards were nearly maxed out, and the stress of financial pressure never left him. He often told himself that the next raise would finally solve everything, but each time his income increased, his debts did too. One afternoon, he admitted something that stayed with me. He said, "I do not understand why this keeps happening. I earn enough to be free, but I never feel free." That confession revealed the true problem. His issue was not a lack of money. It was a lack of clarity about the emotions driving his behavior. He used spending as a way to cope with exhaustion, to reward himself after long days, to impress others, and to feel in control of areas of his life that felt uncertain. His expenses were not the result of want, but of emotional need. This man's story is not uncommon. Many people live a version of the same experience, earning well but feeling trapped, saving occasionally but never consistently, investing only when fear is quiet enough to allow it. They believe that discipline is the solution, Yet discipline becomes fragile when emotions remain unexamined. Logical plans fall apart because emotional patterns overpower them. In this sense, emotional awareness is a form of financial strength. The purpose of sharing this story is not to judge, but to highlight the gap between income and emotional stability. Wealth cannot compensate for unresolved fears, unchallenged beliefs, or the pressure to maintain an image. When emotions rule silently in the background, financial decisions become unpredictable. You may know what you should do, but you do not feel able to follow through. That conflict creates stress, guilt, and self-doubt, even in the presence of financial abundance. As we move forward in this book, this story becomes a reminder that true freedom is not defined by earnings alone. It is defined by the relationship you have with your own mind. When you understand why you spend, save, or avoid certain decisions, you gain the power to change them. You begin to act from intention rather than impulse. You become the leader of your financial life rather than a passenger carried by emotions you never addressed. The man in this story eventually transformed his situation, not by increasing his income, but by understanding the emotional triggers that shaped his habits. He learned to pause before deciding, to question the feeling behind the urge, and to replace pressure with clarity. Over time, his finances stabilized, not because he earned more, but because he understood himself more. This anecdote serves as an invitation. You do not need to wait for a crisis, a raise, or a breakthrough to begin changing your financial life. You simply need to become aware of the emotions guiding your behavior. Once you see them clearly, you unlock a new level of freedom, one that comes not from the amount you earn, but from the clarity with which you decide. What this episode promises: understanding why we do what we do with money. This chapter offers a promise that goes far beyond traditional financial advice. By the end of this journey, you will understand why you behave the way you do with money. Not just what you spend, save, or invest, but the deeper motivations, the emotions, memories, beliefs, and unconscious patterns that quietly shape every financial decision you make. This understanding is the foundation of genuine financial freedom, because it reveals the forces that operate beneath the surface of logic. Many people assume that money decisions are based on information. In reality, most are based on emotion. You can know the right choice and still act against your own interests. You can have goals yet feel unable to pursue them. You can plan with clarity yet fall into the same habits again. This book promises to illuminate the invisible elements guiding these moments: fear, scarcity, comparison, pressure, identity, and the stories you have carried since childhood. When these forces remain hidden, they control you. When they become visible, you regain control. Throughout this episode, you will discover that every financial outcome begins long before a transaction. It begins with a feeling, sometimes subtle, sometimes overwhelming. The goal is not to suppress those feelings, but to understand them so deeply that they no longer dictate your future without your awareness. Once you recognize the emotional origins of your choices, you can redirect your habits with intention rather than instinct. This chapter also promises clarity. Instead of viewing your money behavior as random, inconsistent, or flawed, you will see it as logical in the context of your emotional history. You will understand why certain purchases bring comfort, why saving sometimes feels difficult, why investing triggers fear, and why comparison influences your confidence. This self-awareness removes the shame many people carry about their finances and replaces it with curiosity and empowerment. You will also learn the tools to reshape your internal patterns. Insight alone is not enough. transformation requires practice. As you continue through the book, you will be guided toward new ways of thinking, new ways of responding, and new ways of building long-term stability. This episode promises not just understanding, but the beginning of emotional mastery, an essential component of financial independence. Ultimately, this chapter offers a powerful shift. The understanding that your financial life is not solely defined by income, opportunities, or strategies. It is shaped by the relationship you have with yourself. By the end of this introduction, you will be equipped with a new lens through which to view your decisions, one that reveals the emotional truth behind them and empowers you to create new outcomes. This is the promise, clarity, awareness, and the beginning of a transformation that aligns your emotions with your goals. Once you understand why you do what you do with money, you are no longer controlled by past patterns. You step into a new level of freedom, one built not just on wealth but on wisdom. If you believe this chapter could help someone, feel free to share it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. And if you enjoyed this audiobook, please like and subscribe. Your support truly helps us keep creating more content like this.